Welcome to Wager Talk TV. I'm Kelly Stewart, joined by Marco D'Angelo at Marco in Vegas, Mr. Bruce Marshall, Mr. Bruce A. Marshall on Twitter. I almost forgot that special little one. Otherwise, you guys might get trolled by some other guy trying to pretend to be Bruce. Okay, so we got the first weekend of college football under our belt, kind of, week 0. But week 1, this is going to be one of the biggest games on the docket. Oregon and Auburn, Cowboys Stadium. Marco, I love college football, but I have no idea what to do with this game. I'm not sold on this Auburn team, everything I'm reading, and I'm also not really sure what to make of the Oregon Ducks. What is your opinion?
Well, you know, every year there's a team in the Pac-12 that everybody starts talking about and gets high on.
Ding, ding.
The last couple of years it was Washington, and then, you know,
Utah.
they had a big game last year to open the season against this very same Auburn team, and I think that's actually going to be a help for Auburn in this game, having that big game experience last year to open the season. Too many teams go with cupcakes, Bruce, and, you know, in that first week. To take a game like this, and for Oregon, Auburn, not that they're going to run the table in the SEC or anything, but they could have one loss and survive. Oregon, if they have any dreams of a national championship, if they lose this game, it's done, because a one-loss team in the Pac-12 is not going to make it. So this
Absolutely.
is big pressure as far as Oregon, and they've got a ton of hype, but it's still SEC versus Pac-12.
Yeah, and that hype you talk about, I'll tell you, and I was down there at SEC Media Days in July, and the Auburn people there are hyping up Oregon a lot. I mean, they're saying this is a top 5 team, and I don't know that I agree with that. If you're basing your Oregon on a projection because all these starters are back and Herbert might be the first player picked in the draft next April, maybe so. Not based upon their performance last year. That was a soft 9-4. Why was it soft? Listen, they were 5-4 in a very watered-down Pac-12. You don't get boat raced by Arizona if you're that good. You don't get whipped by Washington State. You don't lose at home to Arizona State. You don't blow a game like that against Stanford, and you have a very weak non-conference schedule last year. Part of that was because A&M pulled out of a game with them, but Portland State, Bowling Green, San Jose State, they didn't beat anybody, and that bowl game was terrible against Michigan State. I need more convincing about Oregon and Mario Cristobal, and Marco mentioned something about the Pac-12 here that's very important. This isn't a bowl game, but it is a bowl-type game. And in bowl games the last 3 years, the Pac-12 is 3-19 against the point spread. And we saw Arizona last week lose that game against Hawaii. Now,
as a double-digit favorite.
I know, losing outright. So that is not much of an endorsement for the Pac-12. And I have my questions about Oregon. I'm wrong on this stuff sometimes, but we kind of liked Auburn pretty strong on the gold sheet.
Yeah, and you talked about Oregon having that 9-4 straight-up record last year, but that only converted to 4-8 against the spread, and that's what we concern ourselves here. I look at the Pac-12, and outside of teams like Utah and Washington that do play hard-nosed defense, to me, the Pac-12, I categorize it as a finesse conference. It's all about scoring. They don't play tough defense. Now you're going up against one of the most, physical conferences. The SEC and the Big Ten, to me, are the physical conferences out there. I just don't know that they can match up. Auburn, the big question mark, and this is the key to them for this season, is how quickly Bo Nix gets comfortable with this offense. His dad was a quarterback here, so he's had a football in his hand since he could walk. And then the other big change this year, Auburn, I think the heat's on the coach for Gus
Malzahn.
Yeah, for Auburn this year. He's got to deliver this year. He's taken the reins back and calling the plays himself.
That's the big thing. And we talk to people down there who tell us Auburn's sitting on something this year, and Gus likes his position. He thinks they're being a little bit underrated, but especially because he's calling plays again. He did that early in his career there at Auburn. He did it for the bowl game last year against Purdue, where they looked great. So now that he's got that back, and from what we hear, Bo Nix, now they like Gatewood a lot too. They think Nix is going to end up being better than Jarrett Stidham was.
Oh.
It's early in his career now, but he's got all the tools. What we don't know, though, is the experience factor. So in lieu of that, though, we can lean back on this SEC thing against the Pac-12 and make a pretty good case for Auburn, I think.
All right, Bruce making a case for Auburn, Kelly making a case for stay away. WagerTalk Text Club, 100% free. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to get a $10 coupon for signing up, plus some free picks and other special offers.